it'd be interesting to make a video, but I didn't decide to make the video till I was halfway through the job. But the story is my engine was ticking really bad, and all the suggestions said that it could be a lifter, but on these engines they're rare to go bad, and it's probably clogged injector or a lifter tube. So I took all the push tubes out and cleaned them, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong. They weren't clogged up. And I took my rocker assembly over here apart, cleaned it all out, and I never found anything clogged in there either. But whenever I checked my lifters, about half of them wouldn't even pump. They were just like a rock. So I don't know if they were pumping a little bit, but I took a extension and tried to shove them down, and I can't move them. They dent a 6x6 before they move. So I was going to show you how to take these apart, clean them out, put them back together where they work good. So anyway, on mine there's a little spring clip here which you don't want to lose, and you just pop this clip out like so, and it's stuck down in there. Take a pick, stick it down there and try to pull that out. That came out easy. This part down in here is going to be harder. It won't hardly come out. So what I do is take a big socket and go over here. My truck's old and crappy, so I don't care. I take the lifter and I stand it up on the socket like that. Just like that. I smack it and it drives that inside piece out. And it should. And if it don't come out, come back over here, and there's a little ball down in there. You just push in that ball to break the suction, which may or may not work. And then you try it again. Now if you get it to move and it comes out flush but then gets stuck, you can smack it the other way and drive it back down and just keep working it back and forth. Until it comes out. See, it's coming out now. I'm just going to smack it back down the other way so it's kind of loosening up. Like so. And there she is. She's coming out. You just kind of twist and pull. We'll carry it back over here so we don't lose the pieces. So this part comes out, and all that's left down in the bottom of mine is this spring. That's it. And then the bottom of this piece actually has a cup that it can come out. I haven't took all of mine out. I had one fall apart and I was able to just put it back in. There's a groove, and this has little, I don't know if you can see, there's little notches, so you can take, if it does pop out, you take a screwdriver and just kind of pry in on the softer part, and it'll pry back down and snap back in. But in there is a cone-shaped spring, and then this ball sits on top of the narrower part. So if it pops apart, you put the spring in, the ball on the spring, and then you put this back on here. But anyway, all this is kerosene and diesel fuel. And I just clean this off. Get all that gunk off. I just make sure that there's not anything in that hole and that this ball dents in and out real easy. It's still working great. I've got these nylon brushes. This one fits better. And I just Work around in there. It's actually got black stuff down in there. They're pretty crusty, but you can kind of see down inside there, it's still got a little bit of crust in there. I don't really have good brushes, so I'm just trying to make do with what I got. I'm sure somebody else has better brushes, but not me. Alright, that's about as best I can get it. And you got this one. This one's bigger. Out, brush the edge off of this. Get that groove. I inspect them too, make sure they're not wore out on the bottom or anything. These are in great shape, so I don't have to worry about anything. Put the spring back in, wiggle it till it's down in the hole. This part that holds the detent ball goes down in there on top of the spring. You may have to finesse it a little bit. It's a very, very tight machine fit, so you just have to work it a little bit. Oh boy. You might have to, oh, there it goes. It's going to spring out, and that's just where it's trapping the air in there. It's really tight, but you can take a pick and just push that ball in, and it'll fall right down the bottom just like that. And it relieves the pressure, air pressure and fluid pressure. And you just let it fall down in there. Get it far enough, you can put, oh, I didn't clean this piece, so don't forget to clean them all. This is probably the piece that's making it stick. It's got a lot of crust on this edge, and you could actually feel it with your fingernail. It's really thick. So you just clean that off. And that's probably what was making them stick up and not work properly. Make it sound like a diesel. And this engine is a Chrysler slantsix, 3.7 liter, so it's 225. It's not the V6 like they had in the 90s. This one's an 83, but they made them, I mean, all the way up, I believe, until probably 1990. But they started offering the V6 version probably in the late 80s, maybe in the early 90s. I don't know exactly. But this is the straight slantsix version. And so this piece just goes right back in there. Make sure you put it in the right way. This part with the notch goes down. Just like that. And it should be springy and work now. Make sure it works really smooth, it's not hanging up. And then you can put your clip back in. And these are pretty easy for me to put back in because I love these. These are way better than C clips. So there's that. There's that. And she's back in. And that's how you do it. Now, getting it back in the motor, I'll let y'all deal with that, but it's not fun. It's not always fun anyway. Sometimes they go right in, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you gotta finesse them, but I've been using magnets to pull them in and out with. But yeah, getting them lined back up with that machine hole to fit down on top of the cam is kind of hard sometimes. But anyway, that's how you rebuild a lifter, 225 slantsix.